Hey, this is Ask Fred 64 back with another question from a subscriber. Today's question is from Lisa, and Lisa says, hey Fred, what about bad service at a restaurant? How do you tip? I said, you know what? That's a good question. The only thing bigger than my mouth is my heart. And as a kid, I worked in the restaurant industry. And I know those people, what you have as a minimum wage does not apply to them. Did you know that? Their minimum wage is lower than the standard minimum wage because they rely highly on tips. So if I go into a place, a restaurant where I'm served, it's not a deli, I don't tip at a deli because they don't have the same situation. They get paid minimum wage. They don't rely on tips. But if I go into a restaurant or a bar or something like that where they do rely on tips, I usually tip generously. I know a lot of places today, right at the bottom, it says 18%, 20%, 23%. Yeah, well, how about 15? How about 10%? 10% I can figure out in my head. I don't even need my phone. I take into account how the person looks. Do they look like they're having a really hard time tonight? Like, is the place packed? Is it Mother's Day? Are they doing their best? Is this their 100%? If they're giving their 100% and it still sucks, they're still giving 100%. So I think my tip should be 25, 23%, whatever that number is going to be that night. I usually round up. But sometimes if the service is really crappy and I can tell that the person doesn't give a shit, or they're lazy, or they're talking to their friends, or whatever the case, if it's their fault that I'm getting shitty service, I tip down at the 10%, and I'll probably tell the manager if I don't tell them right to their face. But I do feel for most of the people that work in the restaurant industry, because not only is it a hard job physically, you have to remember the whole frickin' menu, because everybody, they have the menu in front of them. What soups do you have today? It's on the fucking menu, bitch. But no, they don't say that. They'll tell you French onion soup, chicken noodle. Come on, it's on the fucking menu, man. Or it's up on the board. See that board over there? It says soup of the day. Yeah, that's what soup we have. Why are you asking me? But they don't say that. So that to me is deserving of more of a higher tip. But now if they're not so busy, right, and they're hanging out and they're talking to the guy or the girl at the bar, and you had asked them for a bottle of ketchup 15 minutes ago and it's still not there, you're not getting a good tip, bitch. So always try to pay attention to what's going on. Maybe you can read them a little bit, you know. Maybe they had a really bad day. Maybe you can ask them, like, you know, they're out of it, man. They're just not with it. Say, is everything okay? You know, you have problems going on? They might open up. They might tell you, yeah, my dog just died, or my kid's a piece of shit, or whatever. And then you feel for them. Listen, everybody brings their home life to work, and then your work you bring back home. So it could impact. So Lisa, how do I feel about bad service? I hate it. I really don't like it. I don't overly tip when I just see a shitty waitress or a waiter, but in the same respect, I try to figure it out. You know what I mean? Is this guy a shitbag, or is he just having an off day? Well, maybe they're really busy. I had an experience once at one of those chain Italian restaurants. That's not an Italian restaurant, by the way, and I'm not mentioning their name because they suck. But after we ate, I took someone out, a friend of mine, her daughter was graduating, so we all went there, we had dinner. That's where she wanted to go, that's where we went. So at the end of the meal, the waitress comes by and she gives me the bill, and I handed her a $100 bill, and she goes, do you want change? Do I want change? Do I want change? Do I want change? Do I want change? Yeah, I want fucking change. In essence, what that girl says is, hey, can I keep the rest? It's like, no, a tip is not mandatory. You don't deserve it right off the bat. That's up to me. I could leave a tip or not leave a tip. As far as you're concerned, I'm not leaving a tip. So for you servers out there, a little tip from Fred, and it's free, okay? When you go to a table and you leave the check, and they leave whatever amount of money, if they leave $1 million on the table or $3 over, you say, ready? Write this down because it's important. I'll be right back with your change. That makes you seem humble. That doesn't make you seem greedy. It makes you look sincere and hardworking and just cool. Don't be a dick. So that's Ask Fred 64. Boom! Whoop! Answering another viewer mail. So Lisa, thank you for writing in. And of course, everybody out there, if you like this episode, hit this little like button right here. And of course, subscribe, right? This way, every time I put out a new video, you'll know about it. And if you hit this little bell, it pushes it one notch up where it sends a push notification, whether you're on or not, to your cell phone, your tablet, or your computer. Whatever you use to watch me, that'll give you a clue as to when the next video comes out. This way you can get there first, and you could be the first one in the office to say, hey, did you see the new Ask Fred 64 video? It's pretty freaking cool. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time. Pew!